Old Chunky D.
13-time classic qualifier.
Okay, finished up here at Lake Fork. Man, it is legendary. It is showing out, and I am done with the event. Caught some fish, had a good deal going, what I thought was a good deal in practice, but man, it just didn't pan out for me. I'll explain why, but I'm gonna walk you through all the baits that I threw. I committed shallow. We're here first week of May 2025. The lake was full. We're at full pool. I said, when we came here, I said, I'm gonna go 90% in on the shallow bite. I figured out a little pattern in practice, the types of cover. I was looking for spawning pockets. If I could find pockets in areas where I knew they were spawning in the back, on the way out to the main channels, if I could find some hard cover mixed with grass as well, or just really good clumpy thick grass on either side. Not big expanses of matted vegetation. That's not what I was looking for. They kind of got hard to find, but areas where coming out of the spawning pockets, you would have these clumps, places that they could, the thick cover that they were pulling to. Most of my bites were flipping. As you can see, these are all my casting rods and 7 reels. I tried a bunch of different stuff, but really the flipping and frogging was the main deal. I'll walk you through the flipping first. Day 1, I was mostly flipping the Chunky D. Right there it is, the Chunky D with a 5/16 ounce sinker, 22-pound sunline shooter. So 22-pound sunline shooter, high speed 8.1 to 1 gear ratio, 7 reel, and the GS model is what I was using. That's pretty much mostly all I used there. 7/6 cash and flipping stick, the heavy action. I was trying, you had to horse those things out of the bushes or grass or whatever you were fishing. You had to kind of get it out of that thick stuff. Like I said, I was looking for like the thickest type of cover that you could find outside of leaving those bedding areas. That was really what they were keyed into. That was day 1. Day 2, I switched up to the good old faithful D-bomb. I was switching between green pumpkin, and that's Buck's Shot. It is a Bucks Island Marine Special right there. I even had one of the little pinchers ripped off of that one right there, but that was that's the color that and green pumpkin were what I was using. 5/0 Gamakatsu, heavy cover worm hook, 3/8 ounce sinker, nothing super heavy, 25-pound sunline shooter. That is the deal. Boat flipped every fish on that rig. Again, same rod, same reel. That high speed GS model from 7, and then the Cash and Icon 7/6 heavy. That's just an amazing flipping setup. I can just wrench on fish. I can absolutely crack them, get a penetrated hook set. I mean, almost every fish that I caught flipping, I had to get the pliers to get them out, because the bait would be all the way in its mouth, and then when I set the hook, man, that thing would just pierce up inside the roof of the mouth. That fish was not coming off. I could have taken a nap. That fish was not coming off. But on the frogging, I caught a 4.5 pounder and a 2.5 pounder on the second day. I had a struggle getting the frog bite going, but that was I was using the Spro popping frog, just the regular black, as you might as well, standard issue here. I was walking this bait mostly, so I tied the 50-pound Sunline X plasma braid. I tied a little loop knot and then super glued it. The bait walks really easy that way. You just barely tap it and that bait will pop back and forth. I was throwing it anywhere that there was like a little opening along the grass lines or in shade pockets. Pitch that bait or throw that bait in there, let it land, and then just pop it 1 or 2 times. Pop. And a lot of times that's when they would crush it. The bigger one that I caught, I threw it just outside of this grass line and popped it a couple times like that, and then that boiled on it, and I could see it was a big fish because the frog popped up like that and rolled. Then twitched it a couple more times, kaboom. Just upgraded. Bro! Frogger. That was a awesome hook set right there. Awesome fish catch. But that was the same reel that I've used on my flipping setup, the high speed GS model. As I mentioned, the 50-pound braid, and then the 7.4 frog rod from Cashin in the Icon series. In practice, I had a pretty big day. Had some big bites, I should say. On the small glide bait, I was throwing the Clutch Eco in practice, but I smacked it on the dock, and I messed up one of the hook hangers, and I really wasn't comfortable with it, and I really wanted to throw the bone color. I didn't have a backup on my clutch. I might have to change that, but on my so for the tournament, I threw, this is the little muscle hamsters, what they call it, by Black Talon Lures. Keith makes them up there in Pennsylvania. This is a really good small little glide. It's a small choppy little glide bait, but you can also just steady reel it, and it has a really good thumping hard action. That's what I caught a 310 on with day 2, and I actually caught a catfish as well. I was throwing that on 20-pound Sunline Sniper, the 7-foot 8-inch Cashin Icon swim bait rod, and then the high speed 8-1-1, same reel as using for these other setups. I like that higher speed because all you have to do is little quick reel turns, and you can make that thing dance. Love that setup right there. I've caught a bunch of fish on it this year. And this might make the, maybe I didn't catch one on it at Hartwell, but the previous 2 tournaments, I believe I did catch one on a glide bait. So pretty cool. I caught one every day at the Pasca tank on the glide bait all 3 days. So that's pretty cool. Really what happened here at Lake Fork was that we had that rain coming into the event. The lake was rising all throughout practice. Shallow bite, once you got on the right pattern, was pretty darn good. And the best shallow pattern I was on was in that 1 to 3 foot range. Pretty darn shallow, like not even waist deep, like shallow. Well, what I didn't realize is that they were going to open the gates, the floodgates that is, for the dam on day, didn't do it in practice, did it on day 1 of the tournament. It sucked the lake down a couple inches. That kind of freaks out those shallow fish because very rarely do they open those floodgates. Day 2, I didn't even know, I didn't find out about it until after day 2. After day 2, they kept those floodgates open, and after day 2 they closed those. So I appreciate them doing that, but they got to do what they got to do for the you know, to keep the lake right. But what that did is it made the shallow bite a lot tougher. Looking back on it, I make my adjustment. I fished out in front of the areas that I was flipping. Just in front of those areas, I fished a fair amount. I was on the right track. I was throwing buzz bait out in front of those areas, trying to get those fish to come up. I was throwing a white swim jig with the chunky D on the back, a 3/8, trying, because there was some grass out there. I was throwing a 48 out there. I was throwing a wacky worm in front of it. Even threw this plopper style bait out in front of it. I couldn't get anything going. I mean, I caught a couple fish on those, but they were smaller. Couldn't get anything going. I mean, the first day I only had 13 pounds. The second day I basically had 17 pounds. So I really was on the wrong size fish in this tournament. Never really got the better ones going. Looking back on it, maybe I should have tried a chatterbait or something else with a little more vibration out in front. I know there were some big bags caught doing that. So that's one of those things. The hindsight is always 20/20, but I still burned through a couple packs of the chunky D's, as you can see. But now we're gonna go straight to the Sabine River, and hopefully you enjoyed seeing some fish catches and seeing my recap video. If you have any questions, comments, drop them down there. If you have any experience when that lake is full and then it drops down a little bit at Fork, drop it down there so we can all learn together. But as always, appreciate everybody watching. Just upgraded. Bro! frogger.
That's how you do it.